Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight to dig in beyond the headlines. I am joined by a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC, Phineas Elisha, popularly known as PP Elisha, for discussion on Adamawa politics. He was the former chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in Adamawa State. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So let's begin with politics in Adamawa State. The governorship election outcome is still generating ripples. What's your view on what's transpired?
The governorship election has come and gone, though we are in court, and that you will see that the politics of Adamawa is almost evenly divided because the PDP, which has been declared winners, on Saddle now, they have only 430,000 votes. The APC, the runners-up, they have about 396 based on the results that were declared. So you see that it's almost evenly, just a difference of about 30,000. The Labour came far back by 103,000 votes. So the politics of Adamawa is dynamic, and that we don't like to comment so much on that now because the matter is before the tribunal, and that it will be prejudicial to talk too much on that.
So INEC has decided to prosecute the state resident electoral commissioner who is at the center of this saga. What's your view on this?
Because we will not fault INEC for prosecuting the resident electoral commissioner for one thing. Those are relying on Section 149 of the Electoral Act, but he was not the resigning officer. Whatever his reasons, that's my personal view, not that of the party anyway. Whatever his reasons, there was no way you could change the rules of the game in the middle of the game. So since I've started collecting results from the 21 local government areas where there were rerun, he would have at least, explain his reason for taking that decision or wait until after all the results have been collected. I think that's the reason why INEC is taking him to court. Justice to be done, not only be done, but be seen to be done. I think that's the reason why they're taking him to court. I still say that it will not be okay for the party at this stage to comment on that so much because the matter is before the court of law.
All right. So your party, the All Progressives Congress, lost its bid to unseat the PDP in the state. What factors will you blame this? Will you blame for this?
Intra-party wrangling, because we have to accept this particular fact. In the past, I was in the politics when Rear Admiral Murtala Mayurako GCO was elected. We had stakeholders, and then we have contestants. And at that particular time, we had about 10 or 11 vying for the governorship. But since we had other major stakeholders, the Lingman, Professor Jibril Amin, the professor, apart from Jibril Amin, we have, we have other elders. But this time around, we find that the major stakeholders are also the contenders because they are all governorship candidates. And since they are all governorship candidates, then there was a problem of trying to reconcile. Everybody was trying to pursue his own goals. So suboptimal goals led to the, inter-party issues within the party itself, and they could not reconcile that one. And we went to the polls in that manner. So also, the outcome of the party nominations also contributed. We did not have enough time to reconcile the warring factions, and so the party went to the polls divided. Despite that, the party was able to garner almost 400,000 votes. If those issues were not there, certainly the party would have made it. And two, there is this political issues in Adamawa, which always play a role, but will not be the means of winning election. That is the religious sentiment and the tribal ethnicity, that is to say. The religious sentiment does not work this time around because the major contenders were all Muslims, except one also. But the issue of ethnicity was wiped, and the gullible voters fell for it. And so they felt that, no, this time around it should be this or that. Also, the fallout of the harder farmers' crisis, especially in the Numan Federation, contributed to the poor performance of the party in that particular area. I think those are the things I can say for now.
So you also talked about division within the party. What would you say was responsible for this?
Will pursue suboptimal goals, because if the party had been strong enough at the center to take decisive action against any area member of the party, as contained in the constitution of the party, those issues wouldn't have been there. I think there is a gross, violation or neglect of or not adhering to the constitution of the party itself. I think this has to be fully addressed. There is no way a member of the party, a senior stakeholder of the party, a member of the state executive of the party will come out openly on air and try to say that, look, this is not the candidate for the party. He is mentioning the opposition as the candidate of the party. And nothing was done by the central body of the party. I think this should be looked into. That contributed immensely to the poor performance of the party.
So, Mr. Elisha, when you say it has to be fully addressed, does this mean till now nothing has been done to address that particular issue?
For now, the same executive is still in place, and that we are fully aware that the National Working Committee has formed a committee that will reconcile the warring factions. Meetings were held, but I think these meetings are yet to yield any positive result. And since the elections are gone, we're now before a court of law, whatever the outcome is, that is left to the court. And the tenure of the current executive will expire, then there may be a need to really look into the structure of the party, not only at the state level, but from the ward to the local government and even to the national level. That is very necessary if we are to perform better in future.
All right. So, agreeably, the defeat of Aisha Dahiru Binani has national impact, as it was another missed opportunity to have a woman elected as governor. How do you feel about that lost chance?
Well, honestly, I feel a little sad about it because I've been with distinguished Senator Aisha to ask Binani from the House of Representatives. She performed very well. And also the Senate, I know how her voice was heard throughout that particular period, unlike other periods. I would say that maybe I'm not castigating the male senators, but maybe the female senators perform better. The same thing with distinguished Senator Grace Jackson Bent, when she was in the Senate. Binani actually performed well. And that as a woman, if she could go to the peak and even win nomination of the party, and even as a woman, despite the issue of the feeling of our own part of the country about women leading, in politics, she could still score APC, still make about 400,000 votes. I think that is very commendable. And well, if she has succeeded, I don't know. I will not say she has not succeeded. I will not say if she will succeed because it's a matter before a court of law. But her performance stands her out as somebody who is credible, somebody who had done her best. She has gone to the nomination point. The winning of the election will now remain that of the party, and therefore, all hands should have been on deck to make sure that she came out victorious. But we still remain. We won. We are waiting to see what the outcome of the court will be. But her efforts were commendable.
Right. So let me ask you this, Mr. Elisha, and I'm sure this is one question some Nigerians are asking. Is it that the Adamawa society is so conservative that it does not want to see a woman as governor?
No. You see, if you look at the politics of Adamawa State, if you say conservative as if, when you talk about leading, it's about one part of the faith that we have, either we are a Christian or a Muslim. And in Adamawa State, I would say, without any fear of any contradiction, that are almost evenly divided between the Muslims and the Christians. And that's the reason why, if you go down history lane, once you bring the issue of religion, there is no way you can make it to the exalted office of the governor of the state. Reverend Wilson Sabia did it with, Bamanga Tukuri in 1979. He couldn't make it. Balatakaya tried it with Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, and the presidential candidate of the PDP. He couldn't make it. Adamu led also tried it with Boni. He couldn't make it. The same thing, Engineer Marcus Gundiri and Rear Admiral Murtala Moyero Nyak for GCON, and he could not make it. So if the religion is the main part that you are using in Adamawa politics, you are not going to make it. And therefore, Adamawa state is not conservative. No, it's just a imagination of other few politicians who like to score very cheap goals by saying, look, a woman should not lead, a woman should not lead. I am not a Muslim, I'm a Christian, so I don't want to go deep into that. But if Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan, Islamic Republic of Pakistan can lead, I don't know why Binani should not be in Adamawa, but but that is the picture being painted. I don't think that is not what Adamawa is.
All right, so still on this, many say the APC lost the state because Binani and Ribadu refused to work together. Do you agree?
Well, I think I will not narrow it to Binani and Ribadu because there are other contestants. There are other major stakeholders whose names are not mentioned. Malanu Ribadu is the National Security Advisor. He's somebody that I respect very much. I've been together with him from youth because I went to school in Yola. And I don't believe that he would like a retrogressive action being taken in politics to see Adamawa backward. He would have loved to govern Adamawa. He has been trying to be the governor for the past 2, 3, or 4 times. And therefore, we cannot reduce the problem of APC to only Binani and Malanu Ribadu. There are other stakeholders. If they have, woken up to their own responsibility, I believe this issue would have been solved. After all, both Malanu Ribadu and Binani are all Fulani, they are all Muslims, and they are all from Yola. I don't see any reason why there should be that major difference between them. It's only that the major stakeholders did not cooperate or did not put in their best to see that the party wins the election. That's all.
All right. So let's talk about you, Mr. Elisha. You surprised political pundits by joining the NNPP. So why did you opt for that party at the time you did?
Well, because of the charisma of the leader of the party, His Excellency, right? That is Distinguished Senator Rabi Musa Ponkoso, PhD. His antecedents: first, a civil servant for 17 years; second, a senator; third, he was the governor of Kano State 2 times. It's not everybody that goes to, to rule a state and go back again. It's not easy this in the country. And also the manifesto he put up, if you look the opening page, is that he quoted John F. Kennedy, that don't ask for what your country can do for you, but ask for what you can do for your country. So I went through the manifesto. These are things that are disturbing us: the insecurity, the unemployment, the youthfulness, the agricultural development, the other factors. And that was the reason why I joined the party, because if the people of Adamawa would have listened to us, we felt would have changed the situation. But unfortunately, I think we are hampered by funding, and that at the end of the day, we could not perform well in Adamawa State. But the ideas of that party are something. It's a progressive party. I'm not. That's the reason why I'm not surprised that he is teaming up with Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to see that we move this country forward. We have very, very good manifesto and very, very good intention and very, very excellent past performance. That was why I was in NNPP.
So, Mr. Elisha, you became the chairman of the NNPP in Adamawa State before you defected to APC. I mean, people were wondering what prompted your jumping ship in the middle of the 2023 elections.
No, but by the time I jumped the ship, as you call it, I looked at the handwriting was on the wall. If we could not perform, and that if at the end of the day, Adamawa could only give us 8,000 votes at the presidential level, I think the people of Adamawa State are not prepared for the NNPP for now. And so we feel that the best thing for us is to team up with the APC, where I belonged, earlier on, so that we can see what we can do for the state. And that was why I was not the only person: the chairman, the deputy chairman, the vice chairman center, the vice chairman south, the secretary, the youth leader, 17 local government party chairmen. We all moved and joined forces with the APC to see that we bring about a desired change in the state. And we're still hoping for that. We'll wait for the outcome of the court.
So to your own credit, analysts say your defection dealt a big blow to NNPP's aspiration in that state. Were you bought, or your defection was born out of ideology?
And now it's born out of ideology. I was not bought. I was not given a single cover to move from NNPP to APC. I already stated my case. If at the presidential level, presidential election, we scored only 8,000. The handwriting is very clear. We could not make it. If Labour, that does not even campaign, we went around with my governorship candidate, His Excellency Saad MC Tahir. We taught all the 21 local government areas, and we preached the ideas of the party. We talked about the manifesto, what we intend to give to the people. At the end of the day, we were rewarded with 8,000 votes. So I saw the handwriting. I don't require a suit there to tell me that we could not make it. And therefore, nobody paid a single kobo. Even when we went for the election, we sought APC to give the members of the NNPP that defected to APC some funds so that we can go back to our own areas to see what we could do. Not a single kobo was given. So we did it on our own, based on ideology, based on what we think is good for Adamawa State. So that was the reason why we took that decision.
All right, so Mr. Elisha, as a grounded politician, you would agree that defection is a big problem in our politics. So would you support a law to guard against indiscriminate defection by politicians, and especially during the electoral season?
Well, I agree with that one. The Constitution took care of the members of the House of Assembly. It also took care of the National Assembly. But it failed to take care of the governors, the deputy governors, and even Mr. President. You can recall way back when the former president, Baba Obasanjo, his vice president, Atiku Abubakar Waziri in Adamawa, defected from the ruling party that voted him in and went to the opposition party. He took him to court to see that he was removed. Unfortunately, he was citing the Constitution, and he ended up with Section C that says any other reason apart from incapacitation, apart from failure to perform, death, etc., or resigning. He said, see, any other reason. But the Supreme Court decided that the any other reason is to do with the other reason mentioned above, and that it has not affected people Abubakar, and therefore he remains. So that's a problem. So there is a need to review that one so that it will affect not only the members of the legislature, but also the executive and even the main actors of the party, because you have a reason. If there is a need for defection, I don't think it should be defection. If you have the same manifesto, then there is a need for merger, but not moving from one party to the other. I tend to agree with you that there is a need for a law to take care of that. For now, only members of the legislature are affected.
All right. So some people say Adamawa is a PDP state, hence your defection was of no significance. How will you react to this?
I disagree. Adamawa state is an APC state because you look at the major, it's only that I told you earlier in this interview, there are sentiments. Unless you go over those sentiments, you find that, you go to the, I said, sorry if I use the word gullible, voters. When you go there and you sell to them the idea of, ethnicity, then they buy it quickly. And then instead of going by their party, they will say, okay, look, why did Peter Obi got 103,000 votes in Adamawa? The Christian community felt he was the only Christian presidential candidate visible. And so they felt they should vote for him. And that was what happened. And Adamawa is a really dynamic state. If I go back to 1979, where ethnicity played a major role, then the governor, ethnic group, Mumuye, you have the deputy governor, Mzanyi, you have the SSG, Kwate, you have virtually most of them. The speaker, Paul Wampana led, also ethnic groups, except about two. Our president, His Royal Highness, the Lamid of Adamawa. Dr. Bakir Ali Mustafa, and also late Marafa Mutumbiu. They were the only two non-ethnic groups that participated in the GNPP, government. But that was a different thing altogether. We are in a new nomenclature, a new system. Therefore, when you take that type of ethnicity to the people down there, and they agree with it, after voting, they have forgotten. So that's the reason why we need to enlighten them that ethnicity or religion no longer play any role in politics. But what have you been doing to the people? What are you now doing? What are we expecting from you? That's what should be very important. People are here, people that are going to serve the state. Those are people that we are looking for, not your religion and not your ethnicity. Therefore, to me, I continue to say it, APC, Adamawa State is an APC state, but because of our own errors, because of our own intra-party issues, we lost the election to PDP. Second time around, that is if the court upheld the election of the present governor. The same thing happened 4 years ago. We did not learn our lesson well, but I believe next time it cannot be repeated. Adamawa is an APC state. I stand to be corrected by anybody.